I'm here today to talk about organ, tissue, and eye donation. Chances are you will be affected by this subject at some point in your life, either personally or by someone that you've heard about in the news. Most of you know who Selena Gomez is, but did you know she actually received a kidney transplant? She revealed she was suffering from an autoimmune disease known as lupus, which can sometimes attack the organs. When her best friend found out she needed a kidney transplant, she got tested immediately and discovered she was the perfect match. Selena is so grateful to her best friend for giving her this ultimate gift of life. This is Elsie Mahe. Unfortunately, she passed away when she was 3 years old due to a tragic accident. She got entangled in a blind from a cord in her home. Her mom performed CPR, got her heart started. The paramedics were just 3 minutes away from their home, so they were hopeful that she would recover. When they received the devastating diagnosis that she was not going to make it, peace came to their family in the form of organ donation. Elsie donated her heart, her liver, her kidneys, and corneas. Something good came from this sad situation. A portion of her lives on. She was able to help other people live. This brought comfort to their family, knowing that through their pain, others could receive joy. So there are 3 types of donors: organ donors, tissue donors, and living donors. We're going to talk about each one of them today. Not everyone can donate organs when they die. Actually, a really small percentage of people are eligible. More people can donate tissue. And then, of course, there are things that we can donate as a living person. So what are the organs that can be donated? Well, we can transplant the heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, pancreas, and intestines. Looking at this list, how many lives can be saved through one person donating these organs? Let's count. We have 1 heart, 2 lungs. We have a liver that can actually be split, 2 kidneys, 1 pancreas. We do have a small and large intestine, but for transplant purposes, they only use a portion of the small. 9 lives can be saved through 1 person or 1 cat. 9 lives, no cats. This is Brock. Brock had a liver disease. Growing up, he loved hiking, biking, camping, and hanging out with his friends. In high school, he was on the swim team. He was also in the band. He graduated, went to college, studied for a year, then he started getting really sick. They determined he needed a liver transplant. So he was put on the list, hopeful that they would find a liver for him. In the meantime, he was getting more and more sick, and unfortunately, time ran out for Brock. He passed away a week after his 21st birthday. His family had heard stories of people who had transplants and were now living active lives. They had heard statistics about people who died waiting, but they never thought that would be them. So what are the statistics? Well, over 113,000 people are on the United States waiting list. 800 people are waiting in Utah and Idaho. 20 people on the United States waiting list die every day. Someone will be added to the waiting list every 10 minutes. 80 people in the United States receive a transplant each day. This is Brandon. Brandon was going into his senior year at Springville High School about 9 years ago. He was a great kid, really good student, one of the captains of their football team. He had just finished a summer practice. Him and some buddies jumped into a Jeep. Brandon wasn't the driver, he was a passenger, but the driver was messing around doing donuts in the parking lot. He lost control of the vehicle, it rolled, and Brandon sustained fatal head injuries. He was a donor. 5 lives were saved through his organ donation. The lady that received his kidney and his pancreas thought it would be a nice gesture to visit his gravesite on the year anniversary of her transplant. So she got in her car that day with her parents, drove down to Springville. They actually had a hard time finding the cemetery. They ended up at a grocery store hoping someone could direct them. The person that they asked didn't know, but told her she knew someone that could help them. She sent them to customer service. They're working that day, at that time, Brandon's mom. They were able to meet each other face to face. They're now best friends. Marley is healthy. She has the opportunity to live because of Brandon's willingness to give. So what are the criteria in order to be an organ donor? Well, you actually have to die in a hospital. As soon as you die, your body shuts down. Your organs stop working. They can't transplant them. They have to be viable. So they have to be in the hospital. Second thing, they have to be hooked up to a machine called a ventilator. It's a breathing machine that helps circulate the oxygen throughout the body, keeping the organs functioning so they can transplant them. The third thing that has to happen is they usually have to have some sort of traumatic brain injury, or in other words, they have to be declared brain dead. So let's circle back to Brandon. He didn't actually die in the Springville High School parking lot. They transported him to the hospital, hooked him up to the ventilator. They ran tests and determined he was brain dead. He was able to donate organs, tissues. Had he died instantly, he would have only been able to donate tissues. You don't have to die in a hospital to be a tissue donor, so more people are eligible. So let's talk more about brain death. It is the complete and irreversible loss of all functions of the brain and the brain stem. If you put your finger on your nose, follow it around to the back center area. You can actually feel an indentation there. That is where your brain stem is located. So your brain stem, they're your control center of your body. We don't have to think about breathing. We're not walking around every day going, oh, I really need to breathe. No, it's an automatic response, but your brain and your brain stem are sending the message to your body when you do need to take that breath. If they're not working, your body's not working. Brain death is death. But it is an ethical way to do transplants. They are not killing someone and taking their organs. The only reason the body is working is because of the ventilator. Only 1% of all deaths in the United States are brain deaths.